Hi Raghu,
Hello,
welcome to Sudeep Audio's YouTube channel.
thank you very much. Finally, this is happening.
Yes, and
I only watched your videos and of very great musicians and technicians in the industry, and thank you for having me on your channel finally.
thank you. And it's nice to meet you in your nice little building in
Building.
Bangalore.
Yeah.
For Bombay guys, it's just a dream, you know.
Yeah.
So,
True.
but very happy that you could do this, and congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
We'll do a separate video on the studio tour and building tour. So, Raghu, usual format of our channel. If you could share how you became a musician, issues you faced as a musician, as a child, and some turning points in your journey with the viewers.
Well, I'm an accidental musician, and musician again is a very relative terminology that you can use on people who play music. Okay, I'm not a musician in the truest form, and when I say that, it means I'm not trained. I don't know music notes. I can't read or write music notes. I've never studied theory the way it's supposed to be taught and learned, and I still can't make out a raga or whatever scale or whatever it is. But there are a few things that I can do which are my strengths. One is that I ask for a tune and it comes to me. Okay, and usually they end up being earworms, and that's my biggest strength, to make melodies which get stuck in your head. And I play basic guitar, 4 chords, 3 majors and 1 minor, and then I use capo to transpose and change scales and stuff. So in that sense, I'm not really a musician. But the only thing is that I have a God's gift that I was born with this big voice, which again I cannot do any kind of major harkats. So I'm a very simple singer, but I think one thing that I've always stuck on to is to sing songs which I truly believe in, and not because I have to sing. Songs which truly mean something for me every time. And that's why I'm probably also not as prolific as most of the singers, and then I take years to build an album. So in the last 10 years I've released only 2 albums. So because I wait for my songs to happen, and then they come to me, and then when they come to me I have to take time. And of course lots of musicians have walked into my life, shaped my songs, and I will never claim that these songs are mine. They belong to every musician who's contributed to grow, whether they're on the record or somewhere they've walked into my life for a day, but contributed that little phrase into it or a hook into it. Like for example, there's a famous song of mine in Karnataka especially, called Gudugudiya Sedi Nodu. Bruce Lee Money of Thermal and the Quarter came up with the hook for that song, which is now a legendary hook. As soon as you hear the hook, people go just crazy. I started music because somebody challenged me. As a kid, when I was 8, my parents saw me imitating my cousin sister who used to learn classical dance, and mistook my misbehaving with my sister as talent, and pushed me into dancing. So I studied classical dance for 18 years, and I almost took it as my profession. I did my Vidvat and Arangetram in Bharatnatyam, and I was a very serious student of classical dance. And probably somewhere it is that music that is still with me today. And whatever I am as a musician today is because of my grounding as a dancer. The way I use my costumes, my stage presence, how I use my space on stage, and how I connect with audience. I think every learning came from me as a dancer. So when I was about 17 or 18, I think my classmate who used to play the guitar and sing English songs called me effeminate to be pursuing Bharatnatyam. So I got a little angry, which is my natural instinct. Yeah, I mean, I have very less tolerance levels to nonsense. So I got back to him with an impromptu challenge, saying, I will learn and play that stupid instrument of yours and sing an English song in 2 months.
Okay.
If you show me at least 2-3 decent steps of Bharatanatyam in the same period of time, I'll accept that I'm effeminate and you're not, and you're definitely the macho guy here. He laughed it off, but I took it very seriously. The story goes that I listed down all my Christian friends because coming from a very conservative Tambram family, I always believed that playing guitar is associated with Christianity.
Oh.
So I listed out all my Christian friends and begged them to see if there is any teacher who can teach me for free without telling my parents. Because at home, anything Western was not really encouraged. Like jeans was not allowed. Watching English programs on TV were not allowed. Listening to English music was definitely a no-no. Things like that, you know. So I couldn't obviously tell my parents that I want to do this. So I had to do it incognito. So called a few friends, and finally one friend of mine took me to a seminary where two brothers were playing the instrument during the Sunday Mass, and I requested those two brothers to teach me the guitar. They were not really running a class, but I think they got my story. So they agreed to help and lent me their guitar and lent me their guitar chord book and taught me the first day how to use the chord book to learn a scale. So I learned the C scale and they gave me a song on a tape recorder called 500 Miles. I still remember learning that country song. So I learned this song within 2 weeks with the chords. And yeah, I went back to college and showed Mr. Jeffrey, my friend, that I could play the song in English. Whether he responded the same way I wanted him to or not is secondary, but in those 2 weeks, I discovered a completely different world. And I discovered that I have a voice and what a joy it is to sing. And even to this day, when I get frustrated, when things are not going my way, or when you just get jaded as a musician, you're just doing the same thing again and again. Like even performing every day can be really painful and boring. It's not as glamorous as people think. I go back to that moment, and that is my answer every time. If I still feel this, even a small percentage of that joy of discovering my voice, I still think I should continue doing what I'm doing. And the day I say, okay, I don't connect with that joy anymore, I think I should stop. And I use that principle in everything I do today, in every relationship, in every musician relationship. I think for me, that one spark that happened to connect with somebody, if it is alive in some or the other way, I think it's worth keeping to it. Okay. So that's what so that's how it started, man. It's crazy how I hung on to it, and 20 years later, I'm performing on the stage. And then 10 more years later, I've seen 28 countries and taken my music. So yeah, excellent. It's been an exciting journey. It's lots of stories, lots of amazing people I've met who have helped me across, and I could write a book and people will find it as a bestseller someday.
You should. Maybe I'll challenge you to that.
Yes, we should.
I'm not very sure about this being in South India, but all parents, when we grew up, wanted us to be either a doctor or an engineer. Right. Was that pressure on you also when you grew up?
Not pressure. Actually, the pressure was that I should do everything. For example, I had to study really well, yes. And I always stood in the first 5 ranks. And eventually it became a habit. And in my master's, I stood first in a university. I'm a gold medalist in microbiology. But, and it became a habit. It became the competitive nature that I have today. It is because of the upbringing, you know. You're constantly being told that you're in the general category. There is no reservation. You have to study well. If not, you're like done to dogs and stuff like that. So, and it was a very difficult phase at home also. Financially, we were not well off, and we eked out a living, I must say. And the pressure was only to study well. And then my dad and mom both were culturally very inclined. For example, they would always take me to a concert every weekend. There was Nada Brahma Sangeeta Sabha in Bangalore, which is very popular. During Ram Navami time, there are lots of classical concerts that would happen on the Gita Road in Mysore, where I grew up. So culturally, I was very well aware of, and because of my exposure through my parents. My mom herself was a very keen Carnatic classical listener, so the radio was always playing Carnatic classical music at home. And my dad pushed me into learning Hindi at Dakshin Bharat Hindi Prachar Sabha.
Okay.
At that age, I wouldn't even know why he would want me to learn Hindi of all the places, things, you know. But today, if I look back, I'm so glad because I can sing in Hindi, and normally I'm told I sing Hindi without an accent, South Indian accent, which is a great plus because of that, you know, that education that I had. And he, somewhere in between, he also pushed me into learning Mridangam, which I joined for a few months, and then I would start bunking to play cricket, and I got beaten for it. Even dance class, I would bunk to play cricket, and I get beaten royally from my dad. The pressure was never to say in particular, do this exactly. You have to do only this. The pressure was whatever I do, I should excel in it, and not treat anything with, you know, contempt, or, you know, not give it full-blooded shot, 100%. So if I wanted to play the guitar, eventually my dad and mom said, at least be good at it. You know, when I finally revealed 1 year later that I play the guitar, it was definitely a cultural shock. But eventually, mom started liking what I was composing, and she would always be probably the first person to listen to whatever I compose. Of course, she would hate the lyrics that I would write, but somehow she knew I had a voice, and so nobody stopped me from doing whatever I wanted to. And at some level, I also was responsible enough. Okay, I have to get a life, so. And at a point, like I said, I want to take dance as a career. And that's where probably my dad had kind of made me question myself, saying, yeah, you can take your dance as a career, but really how far can you go with it? And think about it. And I knew he was not for it. He very subtly, the message was sent across. And my mom also was like, you keep dance, you can still dance if you want to dance, but finish your education and do well, get a job. You can still dance in the weekends. You can still go dance classes in the mornings or in the evenings if you want to. But why give up one stream to do only the other thing? So yeah, I kind of followed their advice, and I finished studies and I got a job in Bangalore as a, you know, I joined a pharmaceutical company, and then I went to Belgium. So I did the corporate, you know, kind of rigmarole, and eventually I decided that, you know, the calling for music was something that I could not ignore anymore. Music was like an obsession. I would wake up and I wouldn't even brush my teeth. I would just hold the guitar and sing a couple of songs before I could, or hum a tune or whatever. And only then brush my teeth and get ready for work and stuff like that. And even at work, I would always, even in my lab, when I was a microbiologist, I would always hold earphones on my head and, you know, go through microscope and, you know, observe a different world out there. But music was like 24 bar. I mean, all my waking hours would be with music, you know. And eventually, I got this opportunity when I was working in Belgium to sing on a radio station. And it was called Radio 21. And it was amazing, 10 minutes or 12 minutes of a program on a few words about who I am, where I'm from, and then sing 3 songs. And there was a barrage of emails which the radio forwarded me
What
the
songs
next
were
day.
these? What language?
I had written by then a song called Mysore Se Aayi, which is in Hindi. It was my first Hindi song which I wrote, and I exhausted my entire Hindi vocabulary with it. And then a couple of one song in English called Like Cocaine. And another song called I Still Love You, which is a English song but sung in a very Carnatic way. But I got amazing response from this radio station. Lots of people had emailed the radio station saying we should have had him for a longer chat show, bring him back and stuff like that. So that got me thinking that if I should really give music a full-blooded shot. 10 days later, bag and baggage, I'm in India to meet record labels, thinking I'll become a rock star overnight. The rest is history. But yeah, as far as your question goes, my parents, I'm really thankful I had a set of parents who, though didn't have enough to really, you know, put money behind and push me the way these days parents do. Like, for example, my guitarist who is 19, who's just announced his parents, I don't want to study now, I want to take a 3-year break and travel with Raghu wherever I want. And parents are all ready to let him be and buy him a good new gear and then to travel with him. Like, for example, we played in Madrid and his parents landed up in Madrid to watch him play. So that privilege I didn't have. But amazing that they didn't stop me from doing whatever I wanted to do as long as I give them what they were expecting from me. So I think somewhere I was a responsible kid also. So that kind of helped.
That's great. Raghu, this is interesting. Like Shankar and a couple of other musicians who were in the corporate sector or working somewhere and switched to music full time. At any point, did you feel insecure that, man, I have a cushy job, I'm getting salary on the first of a month, and here I don't know, like you didn't know any music label and you just went knocking on their doors.
Yeah.
So, was there that insecurity in you, that or fear, that made you think again that no, man, let me go back to the corporate sector, and then
I don't think I've had a single moment of self-doubt. That's one more quality I would say proudly about myself, that I have just found the right kind of balls when I need them. Every time, any time when there's a big moment, I've always found the courage to go ahead and just give it all. And I think somewhere the what do you say? The confidence is from the fact that I'm very hardworking. I know next month if I want to earn a certain amount of money, say 10 lakhs, I know I can go out there and get that. And I can live without it also. Like if everything fails, I know I can still go and be a school teacher and be good at it and be still happy. So I think somewhere I'm at peace with things like that. I'm like even today I might have a building and a great studio like this one, but I still have a Honda Activa to travel around. I don't have a car. I don't know driving. So there are things that I aspire for, and there are things that I'm okay with not having at all. As long as we strike that balance, I think we'll be just happy, and you don't have to worry and be insecure. My only insecurity is whether I'll get another new tune tomorrow or not. But as far as me quitting my job, I don't know, man, I've just gone ahead and just done it. And I have amazing patience for things to take its course of time to manifest, and wanting it so badly enough that eventually it happens somewhere or the other. People come, it's a very cliched thing to say that universe will conspire to make things happen for you, etc., from whatever book we all read and enough. But I'm a bloody living, walking example of that adage, and I completely, truly believe in it. That somewhere, if you're honest about it, about what you want to do, and give it all, with all your truest honesty, without any kind of self-doubt, and be ready to lose everything. That I think is a very important point. That you should really be ready to lose everything and everybody in your life, relationships, money, house, whatever you own. If you're ready to give it all up and give that one direction full focus, eventually people walk into your life and do small magical things. And the biggest example is how my album came out. So for 7 years after coming from Belgium, I didn't find a record label to release my album. Every 3-4 months I would record a new demo, meet a new record label, being told the same thing. That was the time when Euphoria to Baba Segal to Parvati Khan were stars on television. And I didn't stand a chance.
So what were you told? What did they tell you then?
No, I mean,
You have a new sound?
very simply, my songs and sound will never sell, and that, I should get more relevant. I still don't think my music is experimental, intellectual, or anything. My songs are very simple, 3-chord songs, which anybody can learn easily and sing back and stuff like that. But yet, I don't know, somewhere I was pushed to the side saying you're niche, and that was weird. And I was nowhere close to Bollywood sound. Well, let's say that way. I think that was what they were looking for, and I was not at all that. And I didn't like that sound either. So every time I would meet these record labels, it never happened. And it was in 2005. I was in Mumbai to meet this really major record label. And I was staying with Shashank Ghosh. He's the guy who directed Quick and Murgan and Khoobsurat recently. And I know him from Bangalore advertising days. And I had met this record label and I went to the office promptly at 10 o'clock. I was made to wait for 5 hours in the lobby. Post lunch, and I'm still hungry and I'm still waiting patiently. I switched off my phone thinking anybody can come and call me inside, so I should be ready. And finally, after 5 hours, one lady walks out and saying, by now, we thought you'll walk away, but you're still here, so I'm giving you 5 minutes. Tell me what you got. So I said, I've sent you my demo. Have you heard it? Do you really think we'll listen to demo? Have you shot your music videos? Do you have money, enough money to, kind of market yourself? So unless you have 30-35 lakhs, let's not even talk further. I said 30-35 lakhs, bloody hell, that's not the kind of money I would have. If I had, I would release it on my own. I wouldn't be wanting a record label, I said. I was so arrogant at that time to tell her that. And I was very angry with the way the next thing she said was, it's not that you're even good looking that I can put a poster of you and girls will go gaga and or have you on the video and people will like you and therefore buy your CDs. So we really need to invest a lot of money to market you, so there's no chance unless you have that money, we cannot. I don't know what hit me, but I just zombied out and walked across the linking road and stood on the median, and that's when it hit me that if everything that I've been thinking about myself for the last 6-7 years was just my assumption that I'm good enough for this, and if I should really rethink my direction, maybe I should just play music because I like playing music and not really think about it seriously as a career choice which I'd already made. Maybe I should go back to Mysore next day morning and hang up my guitar and become a school teacher. Someday I will still be a school teacher, I know it. But at that point of time, I broke down. I cried like a baby. I don't know if anybody saw me crying, but I just sat down on the median and I couldn't hold myself together or cross across. And that's when I got a call from Shashank, because I had switched on my phone. I think Shashank, like, kahan the tum? Like, since morning I've been calling you. I just said I was at this record label and I couldn't, keep my phone on. He said, I know, but without your permission, I have committed since I couldn't get in touch with you. You have to go and play a solo gig at Zenzi in Bandra that night. So I said, okay, chalo. Last concert of my life, I guess. So I go to Zenzi that evening and start playing, and meanwhile I've called Raghuram, Roadies ka. Raghuram, he used to work with MTV then, and few of his friends. So I called them saying, I'm performing, why don't you come? So there were 4 guys, including Raghu, and then they were 4 guys because I had put them on the guest list. And I'm literally playing for an empty room with only 4 of my friends, alone. At 8:30 I started. By 9:30 I had 250 people inside that room, clapping loudly and cheering, and it felt good, and I sang, and I've always sung only my compositions. I've never sung covers or film songs on stage, and it was nice to feel that an audience is appreciating completely brand new music and songs that they've never heard. So I was packing my guitar after the gig and somebody tapped on my shoulder. I turned around and it was Vishal Dadlani. Like, and in his own usual casual ways, like, MC kiske gaane? And he was along with Vijay Nair and Bobby Talwar of OML then. And I didn't know them yet. I got introduced to them later. And then Vishal said, I think Shekhar will love listening to you. Why don't you come to the studio tomorrow morning? So I went next day to their studio, and I was, instead of going to Mysore, I'm in Vishal Shekhar's studio the next morning, and Vishal asked me to sing again some of the songs that I sang yesterday night. And I sang, and as I'm singing, they're talking. I'm like, yeah, what is this?
You called me.
I was supposed to go, and I stayed back just to meet you guys, and here they're talking while I'm singing. Little did I know that during my singing, they've actually spoken and hatched an idea to start a new record label. That's how Vishal Shekhar Music happened, and they stopped me in the middle of the song. And I was like even more disturbed, saying, why are you stopping me in the middle of a song? Like, we were just talking and decided we're starting this new record label and you will be our first artist. What do you think? That's it, man. The rest is, as they say, is history. By 2007, we became the highest selling non-film music album in India, selling hand to hand at our gigs. Me and my manager Gaurav would put a table outside our concert stage and sell it immediately, and we would sell really well. And like that, we sold 35,000 copies in a year, whereas record labels were giving us a number of two. अगर 2,000 बिक जाए ना तो platinum है तू, kind of numbers.
And Vishal Shekhar didn't charge 35 lakhs either.
Nothing. They put their own money behind it. They got the entire fraternity that they knew in the Bollywood industry also, from Shah Rukh Khan to Priyanka Chopra to Karan Johar. Everybody spoke nice words about the album after hearing it, and they compiled the video. Got Sanjay Dutt to release the album at Bandra Fort Amphitheatre. And by 2010, we were number one on the UK World Music Charts. So, like that, Vishal Shekhar is of course the most popular story I keep telling, but there have been incredible number of people. Like the first demo I recorded, I didn't have money. There's this guy called Hariharan, who's a great friend now. But at that time, me and Bhaskar, my wildest friend, we performed a duo concert in Bangalore. That was our first ever concert. We had just been jamming. One day we decided, okay, come, let's go perform for this World Environment Day function that's happening. So we performed for 20 minutes.
Same songs or something else?
No, it was Carnatic classical based fusion. But yeah, Mysore Se Aayi was one of the listed songs there. I walked down the stage and I meet Hariharan and his wife and this kid. They said, "Oh, do you have a CD of your music?" I said, "No, this is our first ever concert. We've never even thought of an album and stuff like that, but it's too expensive and we have not got into it." He said, "But how much would it cost to, I said, "First we have to record a demo to show it to record labels. That itself, I don't have the money to record right now and all that." So about 10 days later, Hari calls me at my office where I'm working, and he says, "This weekend I'm having a small dinner, so why don't you come? Some friends are coming."
In Bangalore?
In Bangalore.
Is it not the same Hariharan?
Not singer.
Huh.
This is Hariharan, a friend. Okay. So I go to his house and he's obviously asked me to bring my guitar. So I was singing for the supper party, and after the dinner is over, everyone's like being very sweet about my music and went away. I'm the last one to leave, and Hariharan's kid comes and gives me a greeting card, like an envelope saying thank you very much, and inside there was a check of 30,000 rupees. I was like flabbergasted. What is this for? I said, "That's for your demo recording." That's how I recorded the demo, and that was the demo that got played on the radio channel in Belgium, which changed everything again. So like when you are firmly doing it for the joy of doing things, I think there's just somebody somewhere working a master plan for you, and send these beautiful people in your life to. For them, it is just a small thing. For Hari, for example, 30,000 was nothing. He's a builder. He's quite a sensational guy. He's an he builds eco homes. He's an idea man. Lots of governments hire him to build projects and stuff like that. And for Vishal Shekhar, probably that little money that they put, for them it was very little. For me, it was like moving a mountain out of my way and showing me the way to the next, glory, sensational sunset, whatever it is.
And it's great that two angry young men could get together and do something so wonderful.
Absolutely.
Because even Vishal is damn passionate. And,
so yeah, a lot of people tell me that I'm probably a tamer version of Vishal.
With hair.
With hair, yes. So I would say, if at all there is a book that I write about my stories, it will be not about where I performed, how I went from here to there, whatever, but about these people who came into my life and did small little things. And it's happened right from my childhood, even as latest as probably last week. It's just that over a period of time, I've now started, I've learned the art of recognizing these angels when they walk into your life and do that small little magic. I can see that magic happening, unravel. Things are happening. And then as long as you're grateful and thankful about it, like I mentioned, thanks to Vishal, probably every day to people, I tell them how great that guy is really. What we see him as a persona on social media is a completely different persona from what he truly, truly at the core is. Things like that, So I think as long as we are grateful for those small blessings, I think you'll be successful at what you do.
Raghu, there was excellent inputs about your childhood and growing up. and in part 2 we'll talk about some more with you about your views on music and
Sure.
things like that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.